What's up, guys? It's your boy Dawson from D&D TV and Dawson Speak. I hope everybody is doing well. I want to thank everybody who's rated, comment, and subscribed. All these new subscribers, we really appreciate it. And for everybody who left a comment, I definitely appreciate that. Thank you all so much. I did a video a couple days ago, I think it's about 2 days ago now, about the two young adults who committed suicide in up north, Mari and Mercedes. And there were a lot of comments on that video, some that were positive and some that just disturbed me. And then I looked at some other people comments on it and on other videos and our video, and it brought me to do a video on Jesus, mental illness, and you. And or this could be religion, mental illness, and you, however you want to put it. And I just wanted to read you all something real quick. And I am a black person, so I've worked in the mental health industry for years. And when it comes to mental health, black people do not want to talk about mental health illness. We don't even like to recognize it. We think it's some type of demonic spirit and all this type of stuff. And I just wanted you all to listen to this real quick. A study from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention found that for the first time, suicide rates of black children in between the ages of 5 and 11 had doubled between 1993 and 2013. While the rate among white children had declined, suicides by hanging nearly tripled among black boys in particular. These findings were so surprising to researchers that they spent an extra year reanalyzing data just to double check themselves, only to find the same results. And while white people still have the highest rates of suicide in the country, suicide rates among black youth have increasingly grown over the past decade. The most recent census data found that black youth are killing themselves far more frequently than their elders, and suicide has become the third leading cause of death among black people between ages 15 and 24. Now, when they look at these numbers, they were shocked because in many black communities, and community health experts say, mental health issue is still a stigma, and it's considered to be a white people's problem or a sign of personal weakness rather than illness. And little is being done in the black community on the health level to shift this perspective. And y'all, from working in the mental health illness, the mental health field, I want y'all to know that is so true. And as I was reading those comments and people were like, seek God, and you got to seek God, and you got to be earnest, and you got to seek. Let me tell y'all something. I worked at a group home facility as a counselor for years. Do you know those people had a deep relationship with God, and they would go to Bible study, they would go to Sunday school, they would go to church faithfully, they carried their Bibles, they gave offering. For people to think that people with mental health illness are not seeking God, you're a fool. You're a fool and you're ignorant. And for people to think that people who are struggling or going through any type of thing aren't trying to, you know, people are saying, oh, you got to seek God and give it to God and watch God do it. Let me tell you something. Y'all are not God, and God will heal and deliver whoever he wants to, when God gets ready. Not when y'all spout out all these scriptures. And it's so funny to me that people can always jump on certain things when it's not your thing. It's easy for you to jump on people with mental health, people with sexual sins, or people with obesity or other stuff and harp, oh, you're not trusting God enough if you just turn it over to God. Shut the hell up. You don't know what people are doing in their personal life. There are some people that just holding on to God is keeping them from committing suicide. I sat with a young man about earlier last year who had schizophrenia and couldn't keep a job. And when this guy was explaining to me as I'm sitting there doing his assessment, what he feels when he's in the midst of a crowd, he can't go in a mall, he can't go in a store, he can't get on a city bus, he can't get in a crowd because he said, it feels like my head is on fire and it's burning. And he was like, it's only like that when I'm in a crowd. And I was like, you know, we don't even have to go any further. Just get up and go get some water. You know, and let me say this, instead of criticizing people who are working with people in mental illness or who have mental illness, sit your ass back and pray for them. That's what you do. Sit back and pray for them. Instead of always thinking you got God down packed. You know what God gonna do. You control God. No, we don't need you. We need God. Everybody always got these one-stop things to throw out at people. Well, if it was my child, I would have did this. I don't know where were the parents. You don't know what them kids' parents were doing. You don't know if they had anybody to talk to. And sometimes people do talk to people and people just don't want to share everything with certain people because they don't feel comfortable around those people. And we can sit here on the internet, we can get on blogs, we can get on television and act like, oh, that's not my problem. It's not my problem. I'm glad my kids, that ain't me. That ain't me. I ain't got that problem. Well, you got some problem. You got something you dealing with. You're not perfect. And it baffles me because I had a pastor down here in Miami who has a mega church. Thousands of people go to his church. He's still preaching today, to this day. And that pastor has dealt with depression for years, decades, probably for his whole life. And he has said that he has been prayed for at church. And I think now he's getting medication and he has a therapist. And by the grace of God, he's still here. You don't know. People want to throw out these, oh, well, if you kill yourself, it's a sign of weakness. You do not know what people go through to stay alive. All you know is that that is not your struggle. That is not your issue. And it is very dumb. It's dumb of you to say all of this stuff based on your own experience. That was your experience for you. That don't mean it's going to help the next person. I can get up here and tell my experiences all day. It's up to people to go through what they need to go through. And if they can take anything off of what I say, then, to God be the glory and, and much love to them. But if they can't take anything, if it's not resonating with them, I can't sit back and say, well, if I came through it, why you can't come through it? Oh, that's a sign of weakness. And we got black children killing themselves. We got black men so depressed that they're killing themselves, that they're doing all these different type of risky behaviors and with gangs and with crime. People just don't care about life anymore. And when they come to people who supposedly have the answers or who supposedly can help, the only thing you telling them is you got to seek God. You ain't really seek God. You don't know what people seeking. There were two pastors, prominent pastors, I believe it was last year, who killed themselves right after service. You don't know what's on people's mind. You don't know what people have tried to do for their children. You don't know how people have. I was reading this comment here. This guy, I think he went to school somewhere up in North Florida. I think it was FSU or something. And he's a Christian guy. And he wrote something about mental illness. And he said treating mental illness is purely, treating mental illness as purely a spiritual disorder is very hurtful to those who struggle with mental illness because it points them into the wrong solution. And he went on in this article to say that we are not only spirit, our soul, we are our body too. And many of y'all become so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. And no wonder people can't talk to you. No wonder your family members don't want to talk to you. No wonder people can't tell you the truth. And it reminds me, and for those of you who say, well, you got to seek God and you got to seek God. What about, what? Me and Denise did a show on the Exodus ministry, those people who were trying to convert those people out of gay and lesbian lifestyles. Do y'all know they had shock therapy where they would shock people in their arm if they had any years ago for same-sex desires? Now, if you telling me you sticking electricity in somebody's arm and you're shocking them and they're still seeing and feeling what they're seeing, you mean to tell me them people ain't trying to change if they letting you electrocute their ass? And some of us, we sit here with on so pious and so, oh, God is my friend and I know it. And if I say it, God's going to do it. And well, won't you just go to heaven? Get out of here. Since you just so better than us and you know everything and Jesus is your homeboy and you got Jesus down pat, just go to heaven. You so spiritual, you just floating on the air. You can't be touched with nobody's infirmities on earth. Just get out of here. And I'm talking, this is for those spiritual people who always throwing out scriptures. I'm almost done with this video, but that just really pissed me off because there are so many people who sit in the church who wonder, and like I wonder too, God does what God wants to do. And I remember when my cousin died of cancer, And I told his wife this. I said, y'all had the best relationship I've ever seen any couple, especially any Christian couple. And I asked God, out of all the men you wanted to take, out of all the people you wanted to take, why did you take my cousin? Why did you take him? Out of all these drug dealers and pedophiles and people stealing money and robbing people, you took him. And that let me know right then, God does what God wants to do. Nobody has a hold on God. So y'all could shut up with all this. Well, if you seek God and if you do this and you do this, it's people who did that and they still died. It's people who were so committed and they were so good in church and they did everything and they went out and they fed the homeless and they did more than some celebrities do. And they still died of cancer. They still died of AIDS. They still died of tumors. They still died of high blood pressure. They still died of whatever. So for y'all who think y'all got a hold on God and you could just come and just tell people how to feel and what they should do, just shut the hell up. Let God be God. God will take care of what God wants to do when God wants to do it. Oh man, that really pissed me off because you don't know what people go through with mental illness. People go through a lot with mental illness, and just to breathe, just to be here, to talk about stuff like that, just to take the courage to go to counseling, to go to therapy, to get professional help, to take medication, even though it's a stigma, especially in the black community. Black people don't want to talk about that. Look what happened when Dylan Roof went in there and shot all them black people in that church. The first thing their family come out and say, well, we got to forgive. We got to forgive because, we love the Lord. See, black people, we so messed up. We can't even feel human. They just killed your mama. They just killed your brother. They just killed your daddy. And the first thing you say is forgive? Have they taught us that we're not human, that we don't have feelings? I'm not saying that forgiveness won't come, but that wouldn't have been the first thing I would have said. I have a right to feel human. We act like we're so spiritual and we got to do this to get brownie points, but all your righteousness is as filthy rags. It's not about what you did. It's about what Jesus did. It's your boy Dawson. I'm out of here. I just get pissed off at stuff like that because some of y'all think y'all got God down packed and you don't even have your life down packed. Until next time, I'm your boy Dawson. If y'all are struggling with mental health illness, if you got family out there who are struggling with any type of mental health illness or whatever, y'all, I'm not on this YouTube show to beat y'all down for anything. I don't care what you're struggling with. That's not my job. And I want y'all to get the help you need. If you're thinking about suicide, go call the suicide hotline. Go talk to somebody. Don't let these people tell you you ain't strong enough and you weakness and that's some white people stuff. No, it's your stuff and you got to deal with it. I'm out of here. Peace.